closed, right? No. A family court judge says it wasn't rape. He then went on to question if the act was sexual assault, defining rape as something that happens when attacked at gunpoint by strangers. This judge, 70-year-old Superior Court Judge James Troiano, then went on to say this young man comes from a good family and gets good grades, that he was an Eagle Scout. And then the judge took it a step further, saying prosecutors should have explained to the girl and her family that pressing charges would destroy this young man's life. Destroy this young man's life? Here's something important. Eagle Scout or not, rape is rape. And that judge then went on to deny the prosecutor's request to try the 16-year-old as an adult, writing, and I quote, he is clearly a candidate for not just college, but probably a good college. This judge has since been rebuked by the appeals court, which has cleared the way for the case to be moved from family court to a grand jury where G.M.C., the young man, will be treated as an adult. So let's discuss all of this with Caroline Polisi, a federal and white-collar criminal defense attorney, and Cheryl Hunter, a women's advocate, author, and rape survivor. So ladies, this one got me today. Cheryl, just first to you. When you first read about this, what were you thinking?
What's most amazing to me is that in rape cases like this, what judges often look at is the rapist's future. What they fail to look at is the future of the victim. What is the survivor? What happens to the survivor? There's no longitudinal studies done of what happens to survivors of rape, but I work with them every single day. And I see what happens to them over time. And the irony is they're serving a life sentence. Each and every one of these people that I work with come to me because they're in the grips of the trauma of rape that happened decades ago.
Yes. Caroline, the judge dismissed the text messages, right, with this young man shared this video with his friends as, quote, just a 16-year-old kid saying stupid crap to his friends.
Yeah.
So did the judge here just show a complete misunderstanding of the legal definition of rape?
You hit the nail on the head there, absolutely. And this actually was a case that went up to the appeals court, and the appeals court really rebuked that lower court judge, saying that the predatory nature and the sophisticated nature of this crime, and I'm so glad that you went into detail about the graphic nature of the offense, because he was unwilling to. He was dressing it up with euphemisms and calling it sexual assault, wouldn't even say that it was rape, when what you described clearly was rape, and it was really a sophisticated criminal act. And so that's what the prosecutors were trying to say in this case. They wanted to waive him out of the juvenile family court and have him be tried as an adult. And thankfully, this is not turning into a Brock Turner case. Yep. The appeals court in New Jersey caught this case before it was too late. He will be tried as an adult. And thankfully, everybody is coming out to see just how horrible this lower court judge was. You know what it says on the Supreme Court courthouse in Washington, D.C.? Equal justice under law. Yep. Now, everything about this case is antithetical to equal justice. When you say that this young man doesn't deserve to be tried as an adult because he comes from a good family or he has good grades or he's an Eagle Scout,
are you kidding me?
That is completely antithetical to our system of justice, and it's offensive, and it does so many bad things, not only for the criminal justice system, but for the social system as well.
You were telling me in commercial break that when you're reading the appellate court's decision that you could feel your blood boiling. Just can you just tell me more about that, and also just how rare is it for this sort of rebuke of a judge?
Well, thankfully, it is rare. Thankfully, this made national news because it is so inconsistent with where we are at this point.
Yeah.
My blood was boiling because the judge oftentimes would refer to the victim and questioned the fact that she was intoxicated. So victim shaming, victim blaming. Again, as you noted, saying this isn't really rape. Typically, in a situation that he would classify as rape, there had to be 2 or more people holding somebody up at gunpoint or knife point. In these text messages, this boy actually referenced having a knife in one of them as well. So, and to dismiss this as sort of like adolescent insouciance, it's just the antithesis of what we should be promoting in society. Yep. In our criminal justice system.
And I want to end with the victim, this young woman, Cheryl, because when you read into these court documents, the next morning after she woke up, the description is something to the effect of that she felt something sexually had happened. She was hurt. She was bruised. She then finds out, she goes to school, she finds out that there's video and that it's getting shared and that this guy who she confronts apparently denies it, and then ultimately she goes to her mother, who then took it to police. So brave for doing that.
Incredibly so.
How often does that sort of thing actually happen?
Well, generally what I find with people, and in my own experience as well, is that survivors of sexual assault and rape don't speak up. They fear that sort of retaliation or recrimination or reproach, that they fear that public shaming that happened as well to the victim, in this case Mary, as they're calling her, that Mary was subject to. She kept asking him to please destroy the video. And originally, when Mary and her family went to authorities, they simply wanted to destroy the video so that it stopped circulating and she could put this incident behind her. But then, it escalated from there, rightly so, but she just wanted to get her life back. Now, will that be possible? It is, in fact, possible. I've experienced that for myself and seen that with many others over the years that I've worked with, but she's got a long road ahead. It's not as simple as simply destroying the video and moving on.
Wanted to end on that. Cheryl, thank you so much for speaking up and using your voice. Caroline Polisi, for clearly getting irked and angered, your blood boiling reading this whole thing. Ladies, thank you very much, and we will be right back.